Now, what is baffling is that Mr. Musyoka, a diplomatic and very typically careful leader in his public utterances, said of Mr. Muthama, and I quote, "If I lose a presidential race, it is Muthama who will have his trousers removed like it happened in Parliament." End of quote. Clearly. Can it be denied any longer? Let's start with you, Bwana Njogu Barua. I know you're from the other side. You're even smiling, but the problems within CORD, now starting from within Wiper, spreading out to the entire coalition.
I'm smiling because what Kalonzo is saying is trying to legitimize what happened in Parliament, where there was a fracas, and Muthama's was almost undressed there. So I think that's what makes me smile. But when it comes to the issue of a more in Kalonzo's backyard, it's just like, my own perception and my own feeling is that Muthama could have seen that Kalonzo stands no chance of getting the CORD nomination. I would like to state again, as I've said here, CORD is non-existent in my view, but ODM is strong. So what Muthama is saying, the only hope for him to be in a credible organization, a credible movement, a credible political party seeking power, is only by supporting Raila Odinga. Kalonzo Musyoka has been battered from Makueni to Machakos, and he has just been left with one small Mwingi caliphate. He's no longer having a sizable power, and I mean, he cannot force his way into the nomination. So he's just trying to blame Muthama for whatever may befall him in the next few months when Raila Odinga is, of course, nominated as presidential candidate. The issue in the CORD leadership, there are three principles, or so-called principles. But in my opinion, there's only one principle, and that principle is Raila Amolo Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Wetangula stands no chance.
Do you agree that probably this portends a very bad time?
I want to dismiss what Honorable Barua is saying, and he should not mislead Kenyans. First and foremost, I want to state here categorically that we have the three principles in the CORD coalition, and all the three principles have an equal opportunity of being the flag bearer. A strong ODM, a strong Ford Kenya, a strong Wiper is a strong CORD. Whatever happened between His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka and Muthama is very unfortunate. But what I know is everybody is entitled to their own opinion. In CORD coalition, we have a management committee. This management committee is the one I sit in. And we have the three chairs. One is Senator Muthama, Senator Orengo, and Mheshimiwa Eseli from our Ford Kenya side. So all these three people, they went there to do the chairing, but with the interests of the nominating political party. So if Muthama goes there and maybe advocate for the interests of not the party that sent him, the party can as well recall him back. But as far as I'm concerned, when the CORD coalition started, initially we had two chairs. We had the Dalmas Otieno and David Msila. The ODM side maybe was uncomfortable with Dalmas Otieno, and they withdrew the chairmanship of the Dalmas Otieno. They replaced him with Senator Orengo. The same time Msila maybe was not uncomfortable, whatever the case, that maybe they could not have worked very well, and that's how Msila withdrew the chairmanship. And it was given to
So it's a simple as withdrawing Muthama and the
no, absolutely. The issue is this. It is a political party, a partner that nominated you there. As for the Kenya, we nominated Mheshimiwa.
You know he's not
so the
telling
three of them are there, but particularly for the interests of the nominating parties. So there's no way a meeting can be chaired or an issue or a statement has been issued without the concurrence of the three. Yes, that's how we're supposed to do things. So whatever happened with the Muthama, if there's evidence that can be shown that really he has been betraying Kalonzo Musyoka or Wiper, they have a right to withdraw him and put somebody who will take care of their interests. But in terms of bickering here and there, what I know, CORD coalition is a very strong movement. We are very united. People, of course, are entitled to their own opinion, and I don't think the way you put it, Muthama is there on the interests of Wiper. I mean, so before I finish, you had your time to speak. Give others to speak.
It's okay,
you can't be the only one.
Go, just finish up.
Absolutely.
No, but before he dismisses me, I want to say that why Dalmas Otieno was removed, because he could see the bigger picture. why Mudama is going to be removed, because you can see the bigger picture.
It's not
so
an
what is
issue.
happening now?
It's not an issue of
what is
seeing a
happening?
bigger picture. It's an issue of taking the interests of the nominating political party.
Yes.
So if ODM did away with Dalmas Otieno, that is theirs.
Exactly.
There's no business with us.
Before we come to
So the
Barack,
issue is this. As I finish, I've not concluded.
Yes.
You asked me.
You got into an argument.
Interfere. Don't give him an opportunity because he has finished and he's continuing to mislead people. As far as Code Coalition is concerned, we don't have, or rather we have not yet nominated a flag bearer. So when I have the sentiments from Mudama that you already have, the truth of the matter is we do not have a flag bearer of Code Coalition. We have the methodologies in place. The process is already in motion. But as a matter of time, within maybe a month or two, we are going to have a flag bearer, preferably the start of the year.
Yes.
And that is our strategy as the Code Coalition.
Yes.
So as we speak right now, it was misleading for Mudama to say we know who is the flag bearer. That is very wrong, and maybe that's why the Wiper team were not happy about it.
Yes, Bona Oche.
You know the issue that made Kalonzo speak. We need to be clear on it. Let us not split hairs. Mudama was basically telling the governor Kibwana, who ran on a different party from Wiper and actually won against the Wiper wave, that if you don't join Wiper, we'll sweep you by the wayside. That was the statement. I think we need to start from there. Why did he speak the way he spoke? Kalonzo is saying, look, I'm trying to bring everyone else on board on our party. I'm trying to ensure that everyone around us here is comfortable, because what Kalonzo is saying is Kibwana could remain in his party, but he's supporting us. He could even join the coalition. We have Mutua over there, has his own party called Chap Chap. And by the way, Kambani has so many parties. We have the CCU, that has more than 4 members of parliament. The Ovinya Ndeti party.
But Ochek, I seem to what you're telling us. What you're telling us is that this tiff. A question. You'll continue. That this tiff between Mudama and Kalonzo has nothing to do with ODM.
No, it has. I'm coming to it. I'm coming to it. One of the problems that we have, both. Let me just deal with the Wiper first. Is that some people feel that they are the owners of the party, and that if you don't belong in those parties, then you must either be a rebel or you must be removed and must be sent somewhere. Okay, this is a train of thought that Mudama has been pulling for the last 4 years. You see it also happening elsewhere. Okay, and you know, it repels people. It makes people not work together. And if you're facing an election, one of your listeners has been saying, if you don't join us, you are dead. So Kalonzo is saying this same thing that he's saying, I'm trying to bring everyone else together. You are scattering. The same thing you've been trying to do in the place where I've taken you. Instead of looking out for my interest, you keep
so
on.
You agree that he's actually looking out for the interests of your party leader?
You know, Mudama has spoken. This is not for the first time Mudama is speaking. Mudama is on record as telling everyone else in court. Some Christmas, 2 Christmases back, he said, if you don't fold CORD parties into one party, he will not run. He will even resign from his seat. He said that sometime 2 years ago. And I think there's something probably that he knows that we don't know. But I probably want to agree with Mudama on this particular issue, that maybe he knows that if you don't have Raila at the head of the ticket, you're not going anywhere. But
I don't think Mudama has said that. Mudama has not said it anywhere. That's your opinion. Say this is my opinion.
I didn't say Mudama. He said so. I've said it clearly that it's my opinion that maybe Mudama has seen that if Raila is not the candidate in CORD, then there's no going anywhere. And I think he's entitled to that opinion, and we should allow him to have that opinion. But going forward, in my opinion, I think all of us in CORD must learn to live with one another. And that CORD must also admit, in Western Kenya we have ANC, we have LPK there now, we have Ford Kenya, we have those in these parties. They must be allowed, if they want to join CORD, to join CORD as corporate entities. Karua, who is from his constituency, has said is coming into Jubilee to support Uhuru, but through
she has been told to fold.
So ideally, if you're going to have ask guys to fold up for them to support you, then there's no way we are going. And so CORD must be accommodative, and that's what Kalonzo telling Mudama, that we must be accommodative for us to win the presidency. And I think that's
the danger in these things is that we are seeing history begin to repeat itself. That we saw in 1964-65, political parties were being told to fold up and to join. And eventually we ended up with the monolith that was KANU. And KANU became like a wild cat eating its children. And that is where we are. And my good friend here, Dr. Mheshimiwa Wamalwa, he likes professing the Catholic faith. And as a good Catholic, he must be very familiar with the notion of the primus inter pares, the pontifex maximus, that the Pope is a father, the Holy Father. And when we talk about him as the primus inter pares, he's the first among equals. That same notion can transmigrate and find itself in political environments, where political parties like Ford Kenya, like Wiper, like ODM function. And that there's no gainsaying the reality that Raila Odinga is the first among equals. And you know, you can go into denial, Professor, but this is the truth. Even when you go to your rallies and your meetings, you allow, first of all, the groundlings to speak, like in the Shakespearean theater, where you have the groundlings, the yodels, the yahoos. You give them the first opportunity to speak, and you gravitate upwards very steadily until eventually the deputy, the second in charge, gives way to the primus inter pares to speak.
Absolutely.
And so the path is being carved here for the primus inter pares to be clearly declared to be what he is. And as you sit here disagreeing and sinking in denial, the truth of the matter is that your own party is in trouble. That already there are elements who are bent on removing the party leader, that they are staging a coup, a palace coup, to remove Wetangula from party leadership. And this is a tragic mischief. And this tragic mischief, you must look for its origin, for its authors and its owners.
Yes, and I know now you want to. Yes, and I'll give you an opportunity, because every time when Barack Muluka speaks, we learn some new vocabulary, and we continue learning, and it's very interesting listening to Barack Muluka speak. Quite a number of things.
Primus inter pares is not semantics.
Yes,
that the Holy Father is a cardinal.
No, when you talk about semantics, there are synonyms to what is already known. I'm not saying
and if it is already known,
anything rocket science. That's not even.
Then you already know that Raila Odinga is the first among equals.
Then let's talk about the rebellion within Ford Kenya before we move on to another issue still within CORD, because now that story is on page 29 of the Star, and there's a gentleman by the name Ken Wafula who's leading a sort of a rebellion from within the party. He's called for an NGC, I think, in Thika to discuss the party leader. Where is all this coming from?
Now, we need to understand that such a time when we are trying to get who is going to be the flag bearer of CORD, we are likely to have some people hired to do their own for purposes of other interests.
Hired by who?
For purposes of competition and all that. This man, Ken Wafula, you need to know what kind of a character he is. This is a guy who has been issues of human rights. We are told he's part and parcel of the people who are even coaching the people to go ICC against the president and the deputy president. One time he was beaten up in a bar in Eldoret. I'm told by the
many people have been beaten up.
Correction. I want my director to help me with this. Now we're discussing the rebellion within Ford Kenya. We've moved on from Kalonzo versus Mudhama.
Yeah, so I want to mention this guy behind all this. Yes. But first and foremost, he's not a member of Ford Kenya.
Yes.
Okay, we need to understand that. All of us, can you listen? You know, she's a good student.
No, you know whether he has been defeated.
The issue is this. If you want to know the members of the party, you go to the register of political parties. This man, Ken Wafula, last time he contested on a Safina party, where? In Trans Nzoia, for the senatorial position of Trans Nzoia. So the issue here is this.
Khalwale is a member of your party.
Yeah, I'm going to justify it. Can you listen? The Political Parties Act allows this to happen. The cases of Khalwale, after the merger that came into existence, the Jubilee, he was in UDF. And the law allows him to move, and he moved too. And he moved. No, Safina was not anywhere. As far as the merger is concerned, you need to understand the Political Parties Act, maybe to broaden your arguments. You know, we are lawmakers, and we are speaking here from an informed perspective, not hearsay from the streets and all that. So the issue of this Ken, this man contested on Safina Party. for you to contest on a particular party, you must have been a member of that particular party. From our latest records, from the register of political parties, this guy belongs to Safina. He has no business on matters of Ford Kenya. So Moses Masika Wetangula, in terms of him being the flag bearer, in terms of the presidential aspect is concerned, he's the only one under Ford Kenya that showed the interest. If there's any other person, maybe Ken or whoever, or me or whoever it is, you have to present your name and say, I'm interested in being the flag bearer of Ford Kenya for presidency. But because up to date you've not had anybody, obviously, automatically, Moses Masika Wetangula becomes the flag bearer of the party, unopposed, because he's the only one. So somebody like Ken, we should question this man who begs in the streets. Where is he getting the money to organize for this for this snake? Who is funding him? We need to know who is funding this Ken, and is not a member of Ford Kenya.
Point made. He's hitting below the belt. In a few days' time, we are going to see him talking to people who beg in the streets to vote for him. And I hope that people who beg in the streets are hearing.
I said, for you to have the neck, you must have funds to bring the people accommodation and transport. Where is Ken getting the money from?
You see, there are two things here which we must say.
We need to know why he's after.
There's not just that. There's also a caucus which is happening between Ford Kenya and Wiper.
Yes.
They are meeting. Why are they meeting just two of them?
And who is funding them?
Who is funding them?
To fund people.
Assuming that within that fraternity,
we'll give you an opportunity to respond to that.
Within that enclave, they also have got people who beg in the streets. How are they going to do this caucus in Mombasa, these two parties, particularly after they seem to be ejecting Mudama, who is known to be the principal sponsor of Wiper? You are sitting on a powder keg, my brother. I can advise you for free that you are sitting on a powder keg. And the moment you wake up to the reality that all is not well, the better for you and for that fraternity.
Yes. And before you respond, Bwana Ocheng, you've seen what has been happening and what Bwana Muluka was referring to right now in Mombasa recently, when Ford Kenya and Wiper were there. And they seem to have agreed on a pact that Wiper will support, of course, they have Hassan Omar running for governor, and Ford Kenya said that they will support Hassan Omar for the position of governor. Yes? And in return, Wiper will support the Ford Kenya candidate for the position of senator. And even Senator Halwale mentioned that if ODM wants the position of women representative, that is fine. That means they will not be supporting your candidate, Hassan Joho. Now, these are definitely clear problems within the coalition.
You know, we got 8 months to elections. Everyone is trying to put their best foot forward, and I think they should be allowed to do so.
But when two parties out of three come together to lock out the third...
Let me finish. My only worry, and I've said this here on television before, that I don't think, from where I sit, that Kenyans will ever forgive Ford Kenya, Wiper and ODM if they let down their guard and they separate and get Uhuru back to State House. They'll never be forgiven. You see, the other thing I wanted to say is that in politics, and when you want to negotiate, you must show that you have options. So what Ford Kenya and Wiper are trying to tell ODM is that we have options. Yeah, that don't think that you're a big brother, you can run over us roughshod. So I think it's what happens everywhere. We are negotiating. Even when you're friends, we're negotiating. You must know how to up the game this side. That's what Ford Kenya and Wiper are trying to do. Up the game this side, see how ODM responds, then up the game that side. I think this is going to happen for the next 2 months before they finally settle on what is right.
But what does he mean when he says Kenyans? He's suggesting that Ugandans are going to elect Uhuru Kenyatta.
No, what I mean is this. Let me just say that. What I mean is this. And you know,
yes, Kenyans will never. That is a very loaded statement.
Yes,
okay. I would clarify.
Let me clarify, but I want the clarification that as a country, you know where we've reached. We are the lowest of our ebbs in terms of, you know, being able to get services for the people. The hunger that is biting the country, the kind of economy that we have here, and the best hope that we have in this country today. Is called.
Okay.
Now,
so that you can respond to it, because you're the only one from both sides.
Mine is a small comment. First of all, saying that Eseli, Mudama, and Orengo, as my friend has said, they are protecting their individual party's interest. one of the biggest, actually the biggest thing at stake is the nomination of the flag bearer. So Muthama is supposed to ensure from the arrangement that Kalonzo becomes a flag bearer. The same case for Eseli, advocating for Wetangula, and Orengo for Raila Odinga. That's a fact. The other thing is that at the moment, what is at stake in court is number 2 position, not number 1. In fact, CORD and Wiper are fighting for the running mate of Raila Odinga, because Kalonzo has no path to presidency, Wetangula has no path to presidency. The last point I have here is, because of this approach of Ford Kenya and Wiper claiming the stake of the top price, what ODM could have done is to engineer rebellion in both CORD, in both Wiper and Ford Kenya. That's why you see somebody like Wafula come springing up in Ford Kenya to divide the Ford Kenya.
Saying has been planted there by
of
ODM.
course, and then Muthama is there.
Of course, that's
my opinion. Of course, let me explain. Then Muthama is also planted to divide Wiper, so that in the worst case scenario, Raila Odinga will be the flag bearer, even if it's an ODM party, but get half of the Kambas and half of the Ford Kenya supporters.
Okay. Finally,
first and foremost, I want to say that the 3 chairs, Honorable Eseli, Senator Muthama, and Senator Orengo, they were nominated by their respective parties, and they are not there to ensure that whoever is the flag bearer of their party should be the flag bearer of CORD. I want to correct my friend, Honorable Barua.
That's an opinion.
They are just there to ensure objectivity and fairness in terms of the methodology and the process that is going to be used to come up with the flag bearer. But if a popular candidate is not going to be necessary from a political party, it does not mean that you must advance, that you must ensure that your person should be the one, and yet when it comes to that methodology, he comes second or third. I want to correct that. They are there to ensure the smooth running of the coalition, to ensure that party interests, that consultation and concurrence is in place. That's what they're supposed to do, and provide that leadership.
yes,
That is one. Secondly,
in
Mombasa, people are entitled to their own opinion. As far as Ford Kenya is concerned, or Wiper is concerned, they've not sat anywhere to come up with a decision or a pact to say we are going into partnership ABCD. No.
But you were there,
No. I was there, yes. But whatever was being said by...
are you saying that whatever you say in such public forums should not take...
Those are their entitled... People are entitled to their own opinion. If somebody has a proposal, it will be discussed in terms of the party organs. So it does not mean when Khalwale has said something, that is the mandate or that is the position of the party. This party is not owned by individuals. It is owned by people who must be consulted in line with the constitution.
Yes,
so whatever,
is a deputy party leader?
Absolutely, even if he's a party leader, he's entitled to his own opinion.
Just the sounding board.
But it does not mean that when a party leader or a deputy party leader has come up with an opinion, that is the opinion of the party. I want to correct that. So there's no pact at all that between Ford Kenya and Wiper that this is what has been agreed. You need to understand that these 3 parties are together and they're not going to be separated. And they are ready to take over leadership when it comes to 2017. I was just in Samburu and I was shocked. I thought it was a Jubilee zone. And the Samburus were saying, you people remain united so that we remove this government from power when it comes to 2017. And as clearly as Mheshimiwa puts it, these 3 parties, if anyone is going to move out, whatever the case, Kenyans will never forgive them. They want them to be united like never before. But on the matter of Ford Kenya, I want us to dismiss this guy Ken, because he's the one behind it. And the people who are there, some of them are no longer members of the party. When you go to the register of political parties, Ken Wafula belongs to Safina. He does not belong to Ford Kenya, and he has no business to come and mislead people that